Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive. Today we're taking a look at AI and specifically how it's absolutely exploding on social media.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how fast things are changing.
Seriously. Like it's not just changing how we use social media, it's becoming social media.
Exactly.
And for this deep dive, we're looking at this fascinating market research report all about AI and social media, and it goes all the way to 2029.
It's a pretty comprehensive look at where things are headed.
Absolutely. And one of the things that really jumped out at me was this. By 2029, the market for AI and social media is going to be worth over $6.7 billion.
Yeah, that's some serious growth.
It really is. I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of growth signals a major shift, right? Like
Yeah.
AI is not just a trend anymore, it's the future of social media.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet.
Okay, so let's talk about how AI is already showing up in our feeds.
Okay, well, think about those ads that seem to know exactly what you're thinking. Like you search for a new pair of shoes and suddenly your entire feed is shoe ads.
Oh yeah, that's happened to me. It's a little creepy how accurate they can be.
Right, that's AI at work analyzing your data and predicting your behavior.
Okay, so it's not just the ads. It's also like how my news feed is filled with articles and videos that are like perfectly tailored to my interests.
Exactly. AI is curating your experience, trying to keep you engaged and scrolling.
And on the one hand, it's pretty cool. Like I'm seeing stuff I actually want to see. But on the other hand, it's kind of
Like
like,
someone's reading your mind.
yeah, exactly. It's amazing and unnerving at the same time.
For sure.
So beyond just ads and personalized feeds, what are some of the other ways AI is being used in social media?
Well, one big area is content moderation. So, like removing spam or toxic comments.
Oh, right. So AI is like the behind the scenes cleanup crew keeping things civil.
Exactly. And it's getting really good at it, too. Like, it can detect subtle nuances in language that humans might miss.
Wow, that's impressive. I mean, it makes sense though with all the data they have to work with.
Exactly. They're training these AI models on massive data sets of text and images so they can recognize patterns and make judgments about content.
Okay, so we've got AI personalizing our feeds, removing spam, and even fighting fake news.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of fake news, there's this fascinating tool that Meta developed called Sphere.
Sphere, what's that?
So basically, it's an AI system that scans millions of citations to check if they're valid.
Wait, millions. How does it even do that?
It uses natural language processing and knowledge graphs to analyze the relationships between different pieces of information.
Okay, so it's not just looking at individual citations. It's like understanding the entire web of information and seeing how everything connects.
Exactly. It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about how the big platforms are using AI, but what about individuals? Are there any AI tools that we can use ourselves?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, AI is becoming increasingly accessible to everyday users.
Really? Like what kind of tools are we talking about?
Well, there are tools that can help you filter unwanted messages or manage multiple accounts at once. And some can even protect you from cyber scams.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So like AI can be our personal assistant for social media.
In a way, yeah. It's all about automating tasks and making our online lives easier and safer.
Okay, so we've got the big platforms using AI and individuals using AI tools. So what's driving all this growth? I mean, why is AI suddenly exploding in social media?
Well, the report points to two major factors: the rise of social media shopping and the increasing importance of social media marketing.
Okay, let's start with social media shopping. What's happening there?
Well, it's becoming a much bigger part of the online experience, you know? Like you see something you like on your feed, you click, you buy. It's all very seamless.
Yeah, I've definitely done that a few times myself. It's just so easy.
Exactly. And it's only going to get bigger. The report says that in the U.S., social commerce sales are projected to reach over $53 million. And
Well, that's huge.
it is. And in China, social shopping already accounts for a whopping 52% of all online sales.
52%. That's over half.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Why is it so big in China?
Well, social media platforms in China have really integrated e-commerce into their core functionality. Like it's just a natural part of the experience.
So it's not just about convenience, it's like a cultural shift.
Exactly. Social connections and recommendations play a huge role in purchase decisions.
Okay, so we've got social media shopping booming, and then what was the other big driver you mentioned?
Social media marketing. Businesses are realizing that they need to be where their customers are, which is increasingly on social media platforms.
Right. And they need sophisticated tools to manage those campaigns, which is where AI comes in.
Exactly. AI is helping businesses analyze data, target ads, and even craft entire marketing strategies.
So basically, the more we shop and the more businesses market on social media, the more this whole AI ecosystem grows.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy for sure.
And it's not just the big players who are driving this AI revolution, is it?
No, we're seeing a lot of innovation coming from smaller companies too, especially in niche markets.
Oh yeah, like what?
Well, for example, there's this company called Videoverse that acquired another company called Really.ai, and they're focusing on AI-powered content creation specifically for the gaming and esports world.
Interesting, like those AI-generated highlight reels.
Exactly. They're incredibly impressive, and it just shows how AI is being tailored to specific industries and interests.
Okay, so we've got this incredible growth driven by changing consumer behavior and a booming marketing landscape, and then you got companies of all sizes innovating at a breakneck pace.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time to be watching this space.
It really is. So where do you see all of this heading in the next few years? I mean, is AI just going to keep getting bigger and more powerful?
If this report is anything to go by, the answer is a resounding yes. AI is no longer just a trend in social media, it's becoming the foundation of the entire experience.
Wow, that's a pretty bold statement.
It is, but I think it's accurate. From the way we connect with friends to how we discover new products, AI is becoming the invisible hand shaping our online world.
So basically, AI is here to stay, and it's only going to get more influential.
I think that's a safe bet.
Okay, so if AI is already this deeply embedded firmware, what does that mean for the future of social media and how we use it? I guess we'll have to dive into that in part 2 of our deep dives.
Sounds good.
All right, so we're back. And we've been talking about this huge AI explosion happening on social media.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It really is. And I think it's fair to say that a lot of people are feeling a bit conflicted about it all.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to see all this new technology, but it's also a little bit daunting.
It is. Like, on the one hand, we've got these amazing tools that can personalize our feeds, filter out spam, and even connect us with people who share our interests. But on the other hand...
It's like we're handing over control of our online experience to these algorithms that we don't fully understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that could be a little bit unsettling.
For sure. I mean, it's kind of like we're driving a car without knowing how the engine works.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we become more informed drivers, so to speak?
Well, I think the first step is just being aware of how AI is already influencing your social media experience.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, start paying attention to the subtle ways that your feed is being curated to your interests. Like, notice how those ads seem to know exactly what you've been thinking about.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely happened to me. It's like they're reading my mind.
Right. That's AI at work, analyzing your data and trying to predict your behavior.
Okay, so it's like being a detective looking for the fingerprints of AI everywhere we go online.
Exactly. And the more we understand those fingerprints, the better we can understand the forces that are shaping our digital world.
Okay, that makes sense. So what else can we do to become more AI savvy?
Well, one thing that I found really helpful is learning a little bit about how these algorithms actually work.
Okay, but isn't that stuff like super technical?
It can be, but there are a lot of great resources out there that explain it in a way that's easy to understand.
Oh, cool. Like what?
Well, there are websites, articles, videos, even online courses that can teach you the basics of machine learning, natural language processing, and all that good stuff.
Okay, so it's like taking a crash course in AI.
Exactly. And the more you learn, the more empowered you'll feel to navigate this new landscape.
The report also mentioned a trend that I found really interesting: AI social media writing assistants.
Oh, yeah, those are pretty cool.
So is it true that these tools can actually write engaging content for us?
Yeah, basically, they analyze millions of successful social media posts to learn what resonates with audiences, and then
Right.
they use that knowledge to help you craft your own content.
Wow, that sounds almost too good to be true. Like, can I just tell this AI system what I want to say, and it'll write the perfect post for me?
Well, it's not quite that simple, but it
Uh-huh.
can definitely be a valuable tool, especially for busy marketers or anyone who struggles with writer's block.
So it's like having a really smart brainstorming partner.
Exactly. But it's important to remember that these AI assistants are still tools. They're not replacements for human creativity.
Right, you still need to bring your own unique voice and perspective to the table.
Absolutely. And speaking of unique voices, the report highlights the Asia-Pacific region as a potential powerhouse for AI innovation in social media.
Really? Why is that?
Well, they've got a long history of pushing the boundaries in areas like robotics and automation, and they've also got a thriving digital economy.
So are we going to see the next wave of groundbreaking social media tools coming out of places like China and Japan?
It's definitely possible. The report mentions how government policies in the Asia-Pacific region are actively encouraging AI development, which is creating a fertile ground for innovation.
So it's like a perfect storm of factors that could lead to some really exciting breakthroughs.
Exactly. It'll be interesting to see what kind of unexpected developments emerge from that environment.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential, but what about the risks? I mean, the report briefly touches on the ethical concerns surrounding AI and social media.
Yeah, and those are definitely worth unpacking. As AI becomes more sophisticated, there's a real danger of it being used to manipulate people, spread misinformation, or even exacerbate existing social divisions.
Right, like we've already seen how algorithms can create filter bubbles where people are only exposed to information that reinforces their existing beliefs.
Exactly. And AI could make that problem even worse. If we're not careful, we could end up in a world where everyone is living in their own little echo chamber, completely isolated from any dissenting viewpoints.
That's a pretty scary thought.
It is, and that's why it's so important to be aware of these risks and to have open and honest conversations about how to mitigate them.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about how it's used and who controls it.
Exactly. We need to be asking tough questions, demanding transparency, and holding these companies accountable for the impact their technologies are having on our lives and on society as a whole.
So what can we do? I mean, are there any practical steps that listeners can take to make sure that AI is used for good, not for harm?
Well, I think it starts with awareness. Like we've been talking about, we need to educate ourselves about how these algorithms work, how they can be used to manipulate us, and how we can protect ourselves from those manipulations.
So knowledge is power in the age of AI.
Absolutely. The more informed we are as individuals, the better equipped we are to demand transparency and accountability from the companies developing and deploying these technologies.
Okay, so that's one step. But it's not just about being informed consumers, right? We also have a responsibility to use these tools ethically ourselves.
That's a really important point. We need to think critically about the content we're sharing, the information we're consuming, and the ways we're interacting with others online.
So it's not just about what the technology does to us, it's about how we use the technology.
Exactly. AI can be a powerful tool for connection and understanding, but it can also be used to spread hate, misinformation, and division.
It's like we're all holding a double-edged sword. We have the power to use AI for good, but we also have the responsibility to make sure it's not used against us or against others.
That's a powerful way to put it. And it really underscores the fact that the future of AI and social media is not predetermined. It's something we're all shaping collectively through our choices and actions.
So it's not just about passively accepting whatever the tech giants roll out.
Yeah.
It's about actively engaging in the conversation and making our voices heard.
Exactly. We need to be asking tough questions, demanding transparency, and holding these companies accountable for the impact their technologies are having on our lives and on society as a whole.
Okay, so we've talked about the importance of being informed users, of using AI ethically, and of holding the developers accountable. But I'm still left wondering, what does this actually look like in practice? What are some concrete actions that listeners can take?
Well, for starters, be mindful of your own social media habits.
Hmm.
Are you engaging in meaningful conversations, or are you just mindlessly scrolling and reacting? Are you seeking out diverse perspectives, or are you stuck in an echo chamber?
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the endless scroll. I'm
Yeah.
definitely guilty of that myself.
We all are. But it's important to take a step back every now and then and ask ourselves, is this how I want to be spending my time and energy?
It's like a digital detox. Maybe we all need a little bit of that.
Perhaps we do. And another important step is to be vocal about your concerns. If you see something on social media that you think is harmful or unethical, speak up.
Don't be a bystander.
Exactly. Challenge misinformation, call out bad behavior, and support organizations that are working to make social media a more positive force in the world.
So it's about using our voices to shape the online landscape, not just passively consuming it.
Precisely. We have more power than we realize.
This is really resonating with me. It's like we're all in this together trying to figure out how to navigate this new world of AI-powered social media.
That's a great way to put it. We're all on this journey together, and the choices we make now will have a ripple effect for years to come.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave listeners with a sense of hope. Yes, there are risks and challenges, but there's also incredible potential, Askren. AI has the power to connect us, inform us, and empower us in ways we never thought possible.
That's a powerful thought. It's not about fearing the future. It's about shaping it.
And that brings us to our final question. If AI is already this powerful in social media, what's next? How will this change how WE connect, consume information, and even shop online in the years to come?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Where do we go from here?
Right, like AI is already so powerful in social media. What happens next?
Well, I think to answer that, we have to start thinking about AI as more than just a tool.
More than a tool. What do you mean?
Well, it's becoming more like a partner in our online lives.
A partner. That's an interesting way to think about it.
Think about it. These algorithms are constantly learning from us, from our behaviors, our preferences, our interactions. They're becoming like extensions of ourselves in the digital world.
It's like having a digital twin that's evolving alongside us.
Exactly. And as those digital twins become more sophisticated, they'll be able to anticipate our needs, curate our experiences, and even connect us with others in ways that we can't even imagine right now.
Okay, so paint me a picture. What does that future look like?
Well, imagine a world where your social media feed isn't just a stream of posts. It's a personalized portal to the information and experiences that matter most to you.
So instead of endlessly scrolling through noise, I'll be presented with exactly what I need when I need it.
Exactly. Your AI partner will be able to filter out the irrelevant, amplify the meaningful, and even connect you with people who share your interests and values.
Okay, that's starting to sound pretty cool.
Hmm.
What about shopping? How will AI change the way we buy things online?
Well, imagine you're browsing for a new pair of shoes online. Your AI partner knows your style, your budget, your preferred brands. It can even analyze your social media activity to understand what kind of shoes people like you are buying.
So no more endless scrolling through pages of search results. My AI partner will just present me with the perfect shoes like a personal stylist.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just product recommendations. Your AI partner will be able to negotiate the best price track shipping, even handle returns, all seamlessly integrated into your social media experience.
Okay, now that's a shopping revolution I can get behind. But what about the social aspect of social media? Will AI change the way we connect with friends and family online?
I think it will actually enhance those connections in some pretty profound ways. Imagine being able to share experiences with loved ones in real time, no matter where they are in the world.
That would be amazing.
Right. Or having your AI partner curate personalized messages and gifts based on your loved one's interests and preferences.
So AI could actually bring us closer together, even when we're physically apart.
It's definitely possible. But of course, with any new technology, there are potential downsides. We've talked about the ethical concerns, the risks of manipulation, the potential for echo chambers. These are all things we need to be mindful of as AI becomes more integrated into our lives.
It's like we're standing at a fork in the road. We can either use this technology to create a more connected, compassionate, and informed world, or we can let it lead us down a path of division, distrust, and manipulation.
And that brings us back to the importance of individual agency. As we've discussed throughout this deep dive, we're not just passive consumers of technology. We have the power to shape its development, its use, and its impact on our lives.
So it's not about fearing AI, it's about understanding it, engaging with it, and using it to create the future we want to see.
Exactly. And that's a powerful message to leave our listeners with. The future of social media, and indeed the future of our world, is not predetermined. It's something we're all creating together, one click, one post, one interaction at a time.
Wow, that's a really inspiring thought. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive into AI and social media. I hope everyone listening learned something new and maybe even feels a little bit more empowered to navigate this rapidly changing world.
It's been a pleasure. And remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep shaping the future you want to see.